actually kindness being the key to good mental health. And I think that in this day and age and where we are in the pandemic, it is really important for us to be aware that being kind to somebody, there's nothing more important. The pandemic has brought people around, it's brought in community. We see ourselves on a Thursday evening clapping for the NHS. And what I think is so important for us is to appreciate what it is that we all need at the moment. And also to recognize the fact that when you help somebody, you actually get what is known as a helper's high. A helper's high releases endorphins and serotonin. And it gives you that really good feeling. And at the moment, Prash, we really need that.
I totally agree. And I think, the disbeliever might, or the cynic might say, well, that's kind of sanctimonious. You're kind of doing it for your own ego. But actually, to keep our ego healthy and to keep our ego in check, it's actually a great thing to have compassion high up our agenda, to show kindness to other people. It's not an artificial imposition on the mind. It's actually a very helpful thing to do for the reasons you said, right? And obviously we've got many, as you say, the helpers high. We have an opportunity to do that with one another. What would you say to add to that if people are feeling a little skeptical?
I would say try it. I really would say try it and get that feeling thereafter. Do something for somebody else, maybe with no pay, maybe without them even saying thank you. But then realize, actually, do you know something? I felt good by doing that. So what is it? Learn by experience. Learn by the feeling that it actually gives you and try it. It's just something that is inside of you, which I'd say is just give it a whirl. If it sounds like it's a bit twee, it's not. It is really good for us and it's really good for our mental health.
And from your background, you come across this all day, and I know certainly I am as well. What would you say is the main barrier or block that prevents people, before we get into solutions in a moment, what is the main block that people have to overcome to be able to express that kindness or be able to express that compassion?
People get caught up in their own world, particularly at the moment when it's really very fragile for all of us.
And it's about us.
It's all about us. It's all about us, and me. So instead of making it me, let's make it you. Let's think about somebody else. So it's not all about me. Yes, there are challenges that we have. And it's also thinking about, you don't do it in order to get something back. You actually give to somebody because you want to give to somebody.
I love that. So let's show people how we can add that value into our lives and add a little bit of kindness. What have you got for us today, Carole, as some tips?
Okay, well, I think the first thing to think about is think about somebody else. Actually, just give some thought to somebody you may not have spoken to for a little while. Somebody that maybe you've even fallen out with. But what could be better at a time when we're in the middle of a pandemic to actually phone somebody and to say, how are you? And they may say, oh, where did you come from? The answer is, let's just start thinking about other people. That's number one. Number two, not to think about me. Think about other people. Think about you. What is it that I can do to actually help you? Because that's going to help you. And then number three, actually, once you've actually got that, once you've actually done that, you will learn through experience. You'll actually say, I'm really pleased I made that phone call. I'm really pleased I sent that email. I'm really pleased I made that connection. Get that feeling of being really pleased, and the rest will carry through.
I love that. You build momentum with the helpers high. Helpers high is a construct which is not just theoretical. We can put it into practice using some of the tips you gave. And let me chime in here. And folks, here's a couple that I think, especially if you're a leader, you're tuned into this, hopefully you'll appreciate this. I did a video on this recently. Let me throw a couple your way as well. Carole's mentioned to be a better listener. I want to also add to this, don't just assume, but seek to understand. We've heard this in Dale Carnegie, we've heard this in classic literatures about the human mind and, the human experience, that we always want to try to seek to understand what's going on, walk around in the other person's shoes for a while and see how it feels. So trying to understand rather than making assumptions about a situation or an incident, or as we re-enter the workplace, could be a great strategy to build the engagement with our teams. And secondly, as a leader, especially, and for everyone, express vulnerability. Do not be shy. We have the opportunity to share our mistakes, share them appropriately at appropriate times. And by using that, we can start to really draw the teams towards us, build that togetherness, and work together as a team more empathetically to drive our way forward. Carole, anything else from you as our last words?
No, I think the word is that you mentioned it there, but you didn't quite say the word empathy. Have empathy with other people. If you know that somebody else would like to hear from you, imagine it the other way around. Somebody calls you out of the blue. Just think of that as well. It's this two-way traffic. This is not all about just one way.
Brilliant. Folks, we hope that you enjoyed our pilot episode where in 5 minutes, we want to bring a topical issue to the surface, air it out, share some aspects of it, and a few quick fire tips or tactics that you can start to use, we can all start to use to empower ourselves, our teams, and our families. I hope that's been useful. As always, do leave us some comments and feedbacks. If you've got an idea on a topic that you feel we should cover, please drop it in behind. Share this with your friends and family. And until the next episode, stay safe. Thanks, Carole. Thanks, everyone.